Humor Syndrome. It's my personal picks of 2021. Strap in. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. We are already in February of 2022. The year is already flying by, but I've actually been out for a couple weeks because personal loss in the family, you know. We all deal with it. It's the worst. Go hug the ones you love right now. Before we continue the video, call someone, tell them you love them, text them. If you're sitting next to them, give them a hug, give them a kiss. Don't wait, tell them you love them. Do it right now. I'll wait. So I missed the personal pick stream, so I just thought I would do an entire episode around it. So let's dive right in. We're gonna start with honorable mentions, and then we're gonna go down the list 10 to 1. I'm actually ranking these things, which I don't like to do. Even though I love countdowns, you ask me to rank my favorites, it's hard. But we did it, so let's go. So some honorable mentions that didn't make the top 10. First up, quick shout outs. Hitman 3.
Just take the picture, we don't have all day.
Absolutely obsessed with Hitman 3. I remember my brother and I at an EB Games, and he saw the big box of the original, codename 47, and he saw just this sniper, you know, like an assassin with a sniper rifle. That was all he needed to see. Bought this game, fired it up, putting together a sniper rifle with the briefcase, and I've been obsessed ever since. Which brings us to Hitman 3, which is arguably the best entry in this trilogy, these, the soft reboot of this franchise. The reason it didn't make top 10 though was because of the final mission, which I think is actually the worst mission in the game. I respect what they were trying to do, but I just didn't really like the final mission. And then the support throughout the year with the 7 Deadly Sins DLC, I just couldn't connect to that. Year 2 though, this year looks really good. They're adding a roguelite thing with the safe house. Remember the safe house in the original ones? Like Hitman 2, where you could have the safe house with all the, I love that stuff. They're doing that, and they're adding a new map. So really excited for Hitman 3. Got a couple more honorable mentions. Next up, our best 7, Tormented Souls.
What? I'm sorry, I don't remember you. I certainly don't remember coming here before.
Really like Tormented Souls, throwback fixed camera, old school survival horror. Really solid game, hoping a sequel is even better, because this one's a little rough around the edges, you know, kind of repeating enemy designs. The puzzles are ridiculously confusing. I had to look at a guide a couple times, you know, I'm sorry. Next up, keeping the horror vibe, Dark Pictures Anthology. House of Ashes didn't make the list. Honorable mention though, just a fun group stream. Check that out if you haven't on our Twitch archives, our YouTube archives. We did a full playthrough, and it's just one of the most unique, fun experiences I had in 2021. Just a blast. Another one didn't quite make the cut, Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe the best 8 out of 10 I played this year. Just a really solid, big budget, blockbuster, feel-good hit. Easy to play, easy to love. I mean, even after all the Marvel and the Guardians of the Galaxy, there's just been so much. It's just non-stop Marvel, Marvel, Marvel. This game still managed to surprise, and it was a blast. And then the last honorable mention, INTERmission, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Pretty much my goatee last year. So, you know, an excuse to revisit that game. I mean, it's the best. Cannot wait for part 2. Cannot wait for Final Fantasy 16. All good. Which brings us to the official list, the top 10 games of 2021 for me. These are not the best games. These are just my favorites, you know? Objectively, I can point to better games, but I like these ones the most. So let's dive right in. First up, number 10, Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Holy moly, the month and a half I took to replay these 3 games, and Mass Effect 3 I never finished. So this was not only this awesome revisit of nostalgia, because Mass Effect 2 one of my all-time favorite games. And I've told this story numerous times. I read the prologue books before Mass Effect 1, so I was all in on this franchise. And now, after time has passed, I got to revisit it, fresh perspective, and then when I finally got to Mass Effect 3, it was like, yo, this is new again, and my expectations were in check, because that ending has gotten a lot of criticism over the years, so I was just so ready for it to be horrible. And the ending could be better, but it sets up the future of the franchise. I never played Andromeda. That was on my list. I was gonna do it, but after 3 Mass Effect games, I was fatigued. But I really just enjoyed my time playing these games. Again, it was just a mix of nostalgia and new discoveries. It was just such a comfort, such a joy. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, hyped.
I do regret this.
Come on, you both know how this is gonna end, big guy.
And number 9, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I still get shit from a lot of you out there for my Ratchet and Clank reboot review, because there's a rehash. I didn't like the weapons in the remake. I'm sorry. This is one of my all-time favorite franchises. I pretty much tie all my memories to video games. They make it's like an anchor, you know? It's easy to remember where you were. Like, I don't know. I can remember when I had my first job in high school, one of the very first things I bought was the original Ratchet and Clank on PS2, because Ratchet on the cover with a giant gun. I'm in high school. I'm an edgy teenager. Creature with a big gun, I'm gonna buy it. The rest is history. Ratchet and Clank. The reboot I thought was really, really good, but it just felt safe. Rift Apart was anything but. I really like the new character Rivet. I loved all the weapons, the lore, everything. I would have liked Rivet's gameplay to have been a little different than Ratchet's. That's my really only criticism. It's a big criticism, but it's really the only one. This is just smile on your face, popcorn gaming at its best. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Cannot wait for the next one, whenever that may be. No rush, Insomniac.
Are you ready for the roller coaster ride of your life?
Next up, a cool number 8, It Takes Two. You can watch Brad and I's full playthrough on Easy Allies, as well as Bloodworth and Jones, as well as Damiani and Bossman. We've all pretty much had a taste of It Takes Two. You know I love the co-op bonds, and this is one of the best co-op video games ever made, hands down. That's not hyperbolic, that's fact. Next up, number 7, F.I.S.T. Forged in Shadow Torch. Yo, I'm sorry. Yo, a lot of you are gonna exit this video now. This is blasphemous. I liked F.I.S.T. more than Metroid Dread. I had more fun. I'm sorry. F.I.S.T., I just loved the world. I mean, there's furries everywhere, which I'm not really into, I guess, but I'm not against them. And this game just nails the vibe. I mean, the city you're in, the music is so good. I love the soundtrack of this game. The weapons are awesome. I just love how deliberate combat is. You know, it's about slow, methodical hits. You feel every hit. And the exploration and the progression and the escalation is really, really nice. It is a Metroidvania that is welcoming you to 100% it. It's welcoming you to explore this game. It's not easy, but it's not a chore, you know? Some Metroidvanias fall into this trap of like, you're trying to find like one little thing in a cave that you miss and it takes like 40 minutes to get there and find it. F.I.S.T. is just accessible, and I loved the final boss fight, all I'm gonna say. Next up, number 6, Death's Door. Love Death's Door. I love this game, everything about this game. Just like F.I.S.T., the music, the combat, the exploration. Really, that song when you're in the hub area, you know what I'm talking about? You're in the hub area and it's that looping music. Obsession. Really like the bosses in this game. There's just enough. Everything about Death's Door is like the right amount. I feel like there's the right amount of everything. I wish though, criticism, I wish there was a hard mode. I know a lot of you out there told me to use the umbrella, like a self-imposed hard mode. I didn't know that. It was too late when I got that knowledge. But maybe if I replay it someday, like before 2 or something. Umbrella Run. Also, the reward for 100%ing it. Semi-underwhelming, that's why it kind of knocked down to 6. You know, it wasn't in the top 5. Getting that last little 100% bit, you know, is usually incredible. I'm looking at you, Hollow Knight. But Death's Door was lacking, just a smidge. Next up, Easy Allies Game of the Year, number 5, Returnal. Love Returnal. Returnal, slow start. It didn't click with me right away. You know, when this game immediately came out, obviously, PS5, going crazy, a lot of chaos. Played it, was like, yo, I really like it. Love all their games. And put it down for a while. Finally revisited it. Even upon revisiting it, I was like, okay, it's fine, it's good. Slowly but surely, though, this game got its hooks in me like few do, where you're going to sleep and you're just thinking about runs, you're thinking about lore, you're thinking about tactics, possibilities, you know, maybe I do this, maybe I do that, I don't know. The more you play of this game, the better it gets, and I really, really love that feeling, you know? Sometimes games are so good in the beginning, and we live in a time when there are so many, so a lot of people don't finish a lot of games. So you'll get that like immediate blast of like day one, this game's amazing, but like you put like 10, 20, 30 more hours in and maybe it starts to kind of dip in quality. Returnal is the exact opposite. Slow burn that gets better and better. Number 4, honestly, I wish I could have ranked even higher. It's kind of a cheat, but I don't care. Ghost of Tsushima, Iki Island. Hands down, one of my favorite things of 2021, no question. Ghost of Tsushima, one of my favorite games, flat out. I adore this game so much. So any excuse to revisit this game is a pleasure and an honor and a privilege, honestly. More Ghost of Tsushima, please. Anytime you want to do it, Sucker Punch, I will be here patiently waiting. But Iki Island is absolutely incredible because it's the best of it all. It's the best content of Ghost of Tsushima because it's a contained island, so you're not overloading it with fox shrines, you know? There's just the right amount of stuff to do. They give your freaking warhorse armor to charge people. It's awesome. And it's all about Jin's dad. There are so many bonds. I'm not gonna get into the story, but it's just this self-contained story that hits hard.
我が船頭を務めよう。内に秘めたる罪を清め、生まれ変わるがよい。
Number 3, unexpected. Inscryption. I thought I knew what Inscryption was, and then I beat the first part, and I was like, what is this game? If you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, don't look it up. Just play Inscryption. This is a phenomenal game on so many levels. At its core, the card game itself is phenomenal. I love the card game in Inscryption. It is so fun. But then this game has a lot of secret parts that I'm hesitant to even really talk about because it caught me off guard and it got under my skin in a really awesome way. Like, Inscryption on its own is an incredible card game. Inscryption on its own is an incredible story, like movie. Like, I would watch the movie version of Inscryption, but you're like, a movie about that? What? There's so much more going on in this game. It doesn't overstay its welcome. Sometimes, you know, I'm afraid, like Hand of Fate I kept thinking of, or Slay the Spire, because sometimes when I'm playing those games, it's like, yo, I got unlucky, I gotta redo this entire thing. There was just so much RNG involved. It was really deflating on those old games. But with Inscryption, not as punishing. Not as punishing, more welcoming. Get in there. This game is a one-of-a-kind gem. Number 2, not number 1, Resident Evil Village. Resident Evil Village! Do you remember the hype for Resident Evil Village? Because I do. It was so much. It was the most hyped Resident Evil launch I've ever seen. Ever. I don't care what anybody tells you, Resident Evil Village was the most anticipated, the most hyped this franchise has ever seen. Even if it didn't sell as much as 6, you know, even if you like Remake 2 better, going into Village was a hype like no other, and it delivered. It's just such an excellent follow-up to Resident Evil 7, you know? This is Resident Evil 8, it's like the 20-something game in this franchise, and it still managed to feel fresh and new and exciting and dangerous. The replayability, just upgrading all your guns, taking them into higher difficulties, was so addicting. Mercenaries mode was okay. I would like to see that reworked in the next one. It almost feels like they kind of tacked it on because everyone was like, yo, Mercenaries, we want it. And honestly, it feels just like a kind of a throw-in from Capcom. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. But I just love how all of this game comes together. You've got the castle, you've got House Beneviento, you've got even the cool like water area. I like that. I know people aren't super big on it. Big ol' slug boss is really awesome, fighting him in that little area. You got Heisenberg's mansion, which I've kind of warmed up to a little bit over the months as time has gone by. But the village itself is just such a great setting. I really like the lore and how they set everything up in this game and setting up the future of the franchise too. I love how much is still unknown. Like, will the DLC give us more answers? Who knows? I mean, it feels like Resident Evil's always answering questions and then giving us more questions. So there's still a lot of mystery surrounding the events of this game, which I really like. And, you know, it was good to have Chris back, and maybe with that DLC, we can get Jill in on some action. Come on, Capcom. Give me some Jill Valentine. Village DLC. Let's go. Let's go. And then lastly, number 1, obviously, Life is Strange True Colors.
I'm okay.
You know, first and foremost, if you know me, you know I'm all about bonds. You know I'm all about characters. I gotta love the characters. First and foremost, I need it. I need characters. It's the number 1 want and need and desire when I play video games. I need good characters, and Alex Chen, one of the best. Following in the footsteps of Max and Chloe and the Diaz bros is a tough act. But Alex Chen did it. And let's not forget Steph. The whole cast in this game is incredible. I loved exploring the small town, especially after the road trip in 2. Obviously, she's dealing with the loss of her brother, something I have personally been through. And just connecting with Alex Chen on that level was an experience that transcends the medium, you know? It's like bigger than gaming. I always say that I love movies and shows almost as much as video games, and you know, sometimes just aren't you not in the mood to play a game? Sometimes you're like, oh, I'm kind of in the mood to just watch something, you know? Life is Strange has that like beautiful balance of like, I'm playing this, but I'm also just chilling out on my couch, watching, just kind of a movie night. You know, I did like 1 episode a night. Didn't want to rush it because this is the first time they released the whole thing at once, which I was a little nervous about. You know, the episodic release I loved. One, because we got to do awesome spoiler modes after each one with Bloodworth and Elise, but I just like thinking about each episode for a long time, you know, before the next one. True Colors, just 1 a night, was super cozy. And then of course, let's not forget, Wavelengths, episode 6 DLC, where you play as Steph, and there's some callbacks, there's some tie-ins. So Life is Strange True Colors might be my favorite Life is Strange, maybe. Too early to tell, but I will confirm right here, right now, Alex Chen, best character. All right, that's it for the episode. Those are my personal picks and honorable mentions of 2021. That is it, for real now. Boom. Close the book on 2021 as we look to the future, 2022. You know what today is? It's February. You know what that means. Sifu, Witch Queen, Horizon, Elden Ring. It's about to pop the hell off. Watch out, get ready, clear your backlogs, set up your workstation, pull the blinds, get your pre-downloads ready, your dew, your Doritos, your Blue Diamond almonds, your water, stay hydrated, and enjoy the bounty and the feast that is 2022. We're just getting started.